Well, hello. I'm Chris Brenner,
And I'm Elizabeth Martin.
and we're going to teach you how to properly fit and manipulate a wheelchair today. So I'm going to show you how to manipulate all the pieces on this particular wheelchair. Every wheelchair model is going to be a little bit different. Things might operate a little differently. This uses a lot of levers, so we'll just show you on this one, and then you'll have to consult the user's manual for your specific wheelchair. But what you want to do is swing the foot plates into place here. They're going to be vertical at first, so you'll swing them down, and they should lock in place. These have a small lever on the side here to make sure they're locked. Do that on both sides. Make sure they're down. The next thing is the armrests, and these also come out with a little lever. So you push that backwards, and then the armrests will come out, and you can adjust them to the level that you need for your patient. And we'll show you how to fit those to your patient in a minute. So you'll fit those into place, maybe, like that. And the last thing is the wheel brakes. These simply push forward, just like that, and you'll feel them click into place, and that way your wheels won't move. So now we'll get our patient properly fitted to their wheelchair. Hi, I'm Chris Brenner. I'm one of the PT students here at UC. I'm going to be taking care of you. Nice to meet you too. What's your name?
Elizabeth
What's your last name, Elizabeth?
Martin.
And what's your birth date?
March 19th, 1992.
And can I check your wristband here?
Sure.
Perfect. The person we need. Okay, so we're going to get her fitted in here. First thing we're going to do is make sure that she's locked in. Pretty good locks. And then we're going to swing these into place. You can put your foot up there. And foot up there. Perfect. Next thing we're going to do, see the armrests are a little uneven here, so we're going to make sure that they're at a good level for her. We want to make sure that the patient's able to put some weight onto their forearms, but you don't want them to be too elevated so their shoulders are hiked up. It should make a nice, let's see if we can move this, triangle between the back brace, the front of their arm, and the bottom of the armrest. The first thing you want to look for when you're fitting a patient to the wheelchair is to make sure that the back is about high enough for them. So it should be about at the level of the bottom of their scapula. You should be able to fit about 4 fingers between the top of the back brace and the bottom of their axilla. Next thing you want to look for when you're fitting a patient's wheelchair is to make sure that their footrest is about 2 inches off the ground. This chair has a lot more clearance than that, so it's probably designed for somebody a little bit shorter than Elizabeth is. So this is actually a little too high for her, but still okay for this demonstration. So the next thing you want to look for is you want to be able to fit a hand comfortably between the top of the seat and the bottom of the patient's thigh. Then you want to be able to fit 3 fingers, 3 finger lengths in between the front of the seat and the back of the patient's kneecap. Unfortunately, this is touching Elizabeth's calf right now, so you can see that the seat's a little bit too high. But again, it's okay for our demonstration purposes. Next thing you want to look for when you're fitting your patient to the wheelchair is the seat width. The way you can figure that out is simply by taking a hand and seeing if it'll slide easily between the patient's hip and thigh and the side of the wheelchair. It should contact the hip and the wheelchair on both sides, and as you can see, this wheelchair is a bit too wide for Elizabeth, so you want to find a thinner chair for somebody of Elizabeth's stature. So the last thing you want to look for when you're fitting your patient to their wheelchair is to make sure that they can bear weight through their forearms without having too much pressure on their olecranon processes. So the way you can look for that is to make sure that they have about 4 inches of space in between the back of their arm and the back of the wheelchair. So you should see a nice triangle between the back of the wheelchair, the top of the armrest and the back of her arm, which you can see right here. And what it's going to enable her to do is to be able to shift in her chair and do chair push-ups. Some other things that you might run into on different wheelchairs are going to be straps. You might have lap bands or chest straps or straps around the bottoms of the footrests. And so whenever you're getting the wheelchair out, folding it up, or putting a patient into it, you just want to make sure those are out of the way so they don't get damaged and so they're not uncomfortable for your patient. Some other things that you might run into are power wheelchairs, which will be completely different in how you adjust them and fit them. So this video doesn't really apply to those. And reclining wheelchairs, those will have extra probably knobs or levers that you can pull near the back or the sides of the wheelchair, so you can recline the patient back, and they'll have a higher backrest to keep them in place. So the 4 fingers under the armpit rule doesn't apply there. Thanks for watching.